Hi, I'm Lesley. I'm a careers advisor with Skills Development Scotland working within the North Ayrshire team. And today we're going to talk a bit about preparing for interview. So during these times of uncertainty, we know that we're having to adjust and be flexible in how we approach things. And responding to how employers are interviewing at the moment is a really good example of this. So how people have been interviewed at the moment may be different because they're not meeting face to face, but the point of the interview is still the same. You're to show the employer why you're the best person for that job. So no matter whether it's face-to-face or virtual, it's really important to be ready. So you've applied for the job, you've waited patiently, and you've just found out that you've got an interview. Well done. The employer's invited you for an interview because they've seen something in your application that they really like. So what's next? Well, being prepared will help you feel more confident on the day and help you to show your best to the employer. Let's face it, there'll still be nerves. That's completely natural. But feeling nervous because you really want to do well is a very different feeling from the nerves you get because you're unprepared. So today we're going to share some top tips that could really help you before, during and after the interview. So understanding what the company does, what their unique selling point is, and having a general understanding of their business will really come across at interview. Being able to refer to their product or a project they've been involved in will show the interviewer that you're prepared and interested. An employer may ask you what you know about their company, so be prepared with a couple of facts that you've found out. They won't expect you to be an expert, but it could be more memorable for the wrong reasons if you don't know anything about them. This information can really also help you during an interview. Imagine the interviewer was giving you an overview of the company and they said something like, "Our customers mean everything to us. We're delighted to gain an award for our customer service. We're really proud of it." If you had done your research, you could then respond by saying something like, "I saw that on your website and I was really impressed. You all must have worked hard to get it. What an achievement for the whole team." This type of research really shows that interviewer that you're interested and that you're impressed, and an employer won't forget that. Checking out a company's website, looking them up on social media, these are all really good ways to start your research, and it will give you a flavour of the company as well. So research can only help you. Don't skip it thinking it doesn't matter. Look through all the information you've been sent by the employer about your interview. Some employers will give very clear guidelines about how to best prepare for their interview. Others may not, but no matter how much or how little information you have, you can still prepare really well. It wouldn't be unusual for the interview to start with a question like, "So could you tell me a little bit about yourself?" Or, "Can you tell me why you applied for this job?" Now, an employer doesn't want your life story. They want a summary of you that highlights why you could do the job well or why you would be a good fit for their business. So at this point, bring in relevant skills, strengths or qualifications, for example, that you feel back up what you're saying. Don't get caught out by this question. Practice it beforehand, nail it in the day, and it will give you confidence as you move through to the next question. My strengths tool in my body to work would be a great place to start if you're finding it hard to identify your own strengths. Why not give it a go? A popular type of question often used by employers is something called a competency-based question. So this basically means that the employer is looking for you to give real-life examples of when you've shown a particular skill or behaviour within different situations. You can recognise these as they'll be phrased something like, "Tell me about a time when your communication skills made a real difference," or "Give me an example of a time when you worked well in a team." Preparing and practicing answers will increase your chances of not only answering the question, but answering them really well, allowing the potential employer to really see why you would be a great employee within their business. So using the STAR technique will help you to plan and structure your answers. What you wear can have an effect on how you feel. So wear something that you feel good in, but make sure that it's something suitable for the job that you're going for. Looking smart will create a good impression and will show the employer that you've made an effort. If you're unsure what to wear, again, try and get a feel for the company on their website or through their social media. Different jobs and sectors will most likely have different ideas and interview dress. However, unless you know for absolute sure that a more casual look would be well received or preferred, go for something smart. Current circumstances we find ourselves in at the moment, interviews tend to be taking place virtually, perhaps over Zoom or Microsoft Teams. However, you should still dress for interview. Treat it the same as you would a face-to-face interview. In fact, even if the interview is over the telephone, wear something smart. It can help you to focus and get motivated for interview, even if no one can see you. Interviews using technology are likely to be the norm, certainly for the next wee while. So pre-lockdown, I'd have been chatting to you about the importance of planning your route and considering things like leaving enough travel time, doing a practice run in order to get to your interview. However, due to the current restrictions, like everything else, we need to try and adapt. Now, rather than focusing on your journey, you need to prepare in different ways. So you need to decide where in your house is best to base yourself for your interview. Ideally, you need somewhere quiet and where you're unlikely to be disturbed. Remind whoever you live with about your interview and how important it is for you to be able to focus. Check your tech. Make sure whatever you're using for the interview, phone, tablet, laptop, make sure it's all charged up and that you're comfortable with the platform being used. You need to think about the best place to sit, especially for a video interview, as you don't want the sun glaring onto your screen, and you need to be able to sit up straight and be comfortable. It might be an idea to have a notepad and pen handy, just in case there's any key points that you wanted to remind yourself of. But remember, your main focus should always be on the person or people interviewing you. Lastly, just like a face-to-face interview, where you may have been offered a glass of water, feel free to have one next to you. This can really help if you're a little nervous, so you get a dry mouth, or it can give you a few seconds just to take a pause. Take that pause, focus, and then carry on. But a word of caution, please sit the water somewhere that's easy for you to reach so that you don't need to go out a shot to get it, but please keep it far enough away from your technology. You don't want a spillage situation causing a disruption. So making a good first impression really does matter. So remember, that doesn't just mean the person or people who are interviewing you. It could be the person who's called you to confirm your interview, or it could be the person who's phoned you to make sure that you've got the right IT so your interview can take place. So treat everyone politely with kindness. You just never know who you're speaking to. So on the day, greet the interviewer with eye contact. Make sure you're sitting up straight. Smile, say hello. They need to know that you're glad to be there. So a strong, confident introduction will be a really positive step towards that. If you're unsure, don't panic. Just mirror their behaviour. At the end of the interview, always thank them for their time. Butterflies in the tummy happen to us all, but you don't want that to stop you from being able to focus and concentrate on the job at hand. So how can you control these feelings and still make them work for you? Well, visualisation techniques can really help you to mentally prepare for interview. Visualising in your mind how the interview might play out, how you might deal with certain scenarios, can really help build your confidence and lower your stress levels. Visualisation techniques are used by top athletes to reduce anxiety, improve concentration and enhance performance. Does that sound familiar? Why not give it a try?